10th standard students. Today we will discuss consumerist culture, the 9th lesson in your textbook written by Cherian Alexander. So there is a pre-reading activity here. If you were left with the choice of selecting one of the two options listed below, which would you opt for and why? Tender coconut water or Pepsi Coca-Cola, Bhel puri or burger, working in India or in America, or 4 chapatis with Indian veg dish or pizza. So, what would you select if you are given the chance of selecting among this? Most of you select as your teenagers Pepsi, Coca-Cola or burger, or you would select America, and the last option you would select pizza. So this is what the author wants to say, that the today's trend is most westernized. We don't see the benefits of any product, but just to go on purchasing, and without using it or without knowing the benefits or drawbacks of anything, we just go on purchasing, and we are investing and putting our so much money on these things. So in the consumerist culture means we are all consumers of one or the other things. So what is the culture of a consumerist? So here the author wants to say that when we are getting something, when we are purchasing something, we just don't look the effect, bad effect or good effect, benefits or whatever it is, we don't look into that, but we just purchase it. As we see, the trend is like that, the fashion is like that. Okay, they are purchasing, okay, we too will purchase this. And one more thing is the advertisements. We just fall into those advertisements which are shown in such a bright way. Only the brighter side of the things are shown. So we just fall into it and purchase and become consumers of things, and the sellers or the mercantile community, they make a lot of profit due to this. So in the first para, the author has said, 2 months ago I came across an advertisement put out by a posh shopping mall for bargain shoppers. In a band at the top of the ad, where the words "shop till you drop" is written, I couldn't help noticing what an oft and ironic summing up this was of the media-driven mania of mindless consumption that characterizes our lives in these dawning years of globalized 21st century. So, in the first para, here's the author by chance goes to one shopping mall. There he saw a board, "Shop till you drop." What he has said about this "shop till you drop," shopping till you drop, shopping till you become tired. So this is the meaning of the word "shop till you drop." I couldn't help noticing what an oft ironic summing up this was of the media-driven mania. Media-driven mania means advertisements. Advertisements are forcing us to think in a particular way. These advertisements are just to mind washing our brain. They are just hypnotizing us. It's like hypnotizing. It's washing our mind. So this is what he wants to say by saying that media driven mania, that we are just going to the trend of what is going on, what is shown in the advertisements. We are not seeing what is required to us, what is the main thing that we need. People are not no more going after the need, they are going after the fashion. Media-driven mania of mindless consumption that characterizes our lives in these drowning years of globalized. Globalized means, see, the products we are using is not just from our country or from our villages. It's coming all over the world, from the all over the world, we are utilizing one or the other materials. The make-believe merchants. The make-believe merchants. In this paragraph, the author has said what our ancestors have used and what we are using. And if the ancestors come to know by chance, what would be their thinking if they come to know that we are drinking such a drink like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, these are nothing but sweetened water, flavored water, nothing but sweetened and flavored water. But it doesn't have any nutritional value. So what would they think if they come to know that we are consuming it in such a vast volume? Never before in human history have people all over the world bought and consumed such a bewilderingly diverse array of things on such a vast scale. And the surprising thing is that most of the merchandise is absolutely unessential to human health and happiness. So what is going on here? Products are selling in a vast manner. So whether it is required for the human need? No. Whatever we are spending on is nothing but a waste. It doesn't require for our life. Still we are spending so much money on those products. And surprisingly, most of the merchandise is absolutely unessential. It's not required only to human health and happiness. Just 100 years ago, our ancestors would have found it hard to believe that artificially colored, flavored and sweetened water would be sold in billions of plastic bottles and aluminium cans as a thirst-quenching drink. Imagine their shock if they had been told that this drink has absolutely no nutritional value, but rather has a damaging effect on the digestive system and the bones. And yet, Pepsi and Coca-Cola are sold even in the remotest nook and corner of the world today. These sellers of colored sweetened water are gained multinational corporations with revenue measured in billions of dollars, bigger than the combined GNP of nearly a score of the world's poorest countries. There are parallel success stories that can be told of the purveyors of cigarettes and liquor, hamburgers and fried chicken, cosmetics and fashion wear, a seemingly never-ending list. So, what he wants to say is, see, we are consuming, this is just an example, one example he has given about Pepsi and Coca-Cola. If our ancestors have they just came to know that we are consuming this Coca-Cola and Pepsi, which is just nothing but a colored and flavored water, sweetened water, and it has no nutritional value, and we are consuming in such an extent that it is harmful for our bones and digestive system. They would be surprised and they would be shocked after knowing this matter. This is nothing but mania created by the multinational corporations. Multinational corporation means the corporations, the companies built up in the international level. Now, this is just one example. There are so many things, like the cosmetics are there, fashion world, and parallel success story. You can also see the cigarettes, liquor, hamburgers and fried chicken, cosmetics, fashion wear. All these are the things we are using which are not required. It is unnecessary, and we are using it, we are spending on it just because due to the main purpose, the main reason for this is advertisements. So we are falling into the advertisements and we are using such things which are not at all required by us. And these revenue, how much revenue they give to the government it is equal sometimes more than the GNP, gross national product of our world's poorest countries. So the product of national product of gross national product of this one world, most of the poor countries doesn't have so much of GNP. These multinational companies GNP is sometimes equal to the poor country, multinational companies revenue is equal to the GNP of the world's poorest countries. So that much of income they are earning, and only the revenue, I am saying only the revenue is equal to the poorest country GNP of some poorest country of the world. Third para, equally unprecedented in the world's history in the size of the machinery of persuasion that has been set up in order to generate demand for this profusion of consumables. Without a doubt, global advertising today is the biggest and most sophisticated thought control project ever undertaken. Some statistics reveal the true extent of this phenomena. Global advertising expenditures, according to Benjamin Barber in his book Jihad vs. McDonald's 1995, rose sevenfold from 1950 to 1990 from a modest $39 billion to $256 billion. Barber adds that per capita global spending went up from $15 in 1950 to nearly $50 in 1996. One single company, the hamburger chain McDonald's, spends more than $1.4 billion every year on advertisement. All these figures are huge indeed and getting bigger all the time. So, in this paragraph, if you look into the history of this globalization and the consumerist culture, we just can see that the main role was played by nothing but the advertisements. The advertisements are taking over the minds of the people. And in one of the book, one author has written, Benjamin Barber has written in his book Jihad vs. Macworld 1995, which in his book he has said sevenfold the increase on the spending on the advertisement itself is sevenfold more in the last 50 years. In 1950 to 1990, from a modest $39 billion, it increased to $256 billion. So much of increase in the income of McDonald's. Barber adds that per capita global spending went up from $15 in 1950 to nearly $50 in 1996. So much of increase in the spending of per capita, global spending of per capita. See, one single company, the hamburger. So this is about one single company here. Hamburger company, that is McDonald's, has spent $1.4 billion each year on advertisement. Every year they are spending only on advertisement. They are spending $1.4 billion. So all these figures are huge indeed, are getting bigger by time. The spending on advertisement is getting bigger time, year by year. So what we come to know from this, that companies, multinational companies, corporators, they're just putting more focus on the advertisement, on wash the mind of the people, so that they can get more income. There is nothing but a phenomena has come. It's on the way that the product won't be that much of use, but only due to the advertisement we are just going in a wrong direction. 4. It is obvious when that unimaginably vast amount of money and enormous resources are being spent worldwide in an all-out effort to persuade people to become buying machines incapable of figuring out how much of all that stuff they really need. Shopping has become more than a need for increasing numbers of people today. It has become the chief form of entertainment. On obsessive compulsion, they have little control over, and very often an end in itself. In a recent survey conducted in the United States, it was discovered that most Americans spend roughly half their leisure time watching the television and the other half, no marks for guessing, at the shopping malls, of course. The connection between the two activities is self-evident. Television commercials provide the theory, and when can they be acted upon in the shopping mall? So, what is said in this paragraph is, obviously it is unimaginable that vast amount of money is spent on the resources which is not required. See here they are said, it is obvious then the unimaginably vast amount of money and enormous resources are being spent worldwide in an all-out effort to persuade people, forcing people, only on forcing people. Most of the income, most of the resources are used just to persuade the people, just to influence the people. Persuade the people to become buying machine, incapable of figuring out how much of all that stuff they really need. Persuading the people to become, they are buying like machines. They are not able to figure out how much of the stuff they actually need, they actually require. Shopping has become more than a need. So, this in earlier years, 2-3 decades back, it was not like this. So, only when we require anything, we used to get that. Unnecessary things we don't buy. But now there has become a trend that though we don't need that thing, we just go on buying. Shopping has become more than a need. For increasing number of people today, it has become a chief form of entertainment. Just for entertainment they purchase. And obsessive compulsion, they have little control over it. Obsessive, you cannot control this obsession. So, obsessive compulsion, they have little control over, and very often an end in itself. So, they just for entertainment purpose, just for time pass, they go on purchasing things without any need of it. In a recent survey, so one survey was conducted in the United States. So, from this survey, a fact has come to light. It has said, see, most Americans spend roughly half their leisure time. Most Americans spend half their leisure time watching television. So, half of the time, leisure time is spent on watching television, and other half what they do? You are not given any marks for this, for guessing work at the shopping malls. So, they watch television, and from there they come to know about some products in the through the advertisements, and they go out to the shopping malls and try to get those things which are advertised in the television. So, half of the people will be watching the advertisements in the television, and half of the people will be out there in the shopping mall purchasing all those things which are advertised in the TV. The connection between the two activities is self-evident. Television commercials provide the theory. So, television commercials is nothing but a theory. Like you people will be having in science subjects theory and practicals. Same way, television commercials are theory, and they go out to the mall to purchase all these things is a practical, which can be acted upon in the shopping malls. Until a decade or two ago, we Indians were relatively unaffected by all this. Not any longer. Trendy, brightly lit shopping centers overflowing with all kinds of goods and doubts have sprouted up all over the country, even in the smaller towns. So, in the paragraph 19, so we Indians, he has said about the Indians. So, until a decade or two ago, decade means 10 years. 10 years is equal to 1 decade. So, to almost 30 to 40 years back, we Indians never had this experience, but now what has happened? Trendy, brightly lit, they just attract the consumers by showing. A show off is more than the product they sells. Brightly lit shopping centers overflowing all the goods and bubbles have sprouted up all over the country, even in the smaller towns. So, in the country there have emerged so many shopping malls. Even in the small towns, you can see bright lit commercial malls which attract with so many boards outside and colorful things which attracts the consumers. The key word now is choice. We have choice, so many choice. One product, but so many companies to produce it. So we have choice. Suppose we went to get 1 liter of oil, okay, cooking oil. So how many choices are there? There are choice of almost 20 to 30 types of 20 to 30 companies which are selling the same type of oil in just in some variant prices. The key word is now choice. At last, they say, thrilled shoppers, we are beginning to get the kind of choice that people in the West have enjoyed for a long time. So, in the West, they had this choice since long time, but in India, this is a recent trend. They are getting choice. Nevertheless, the fascination with choice can be carried to ridiculous lengths. A young man, after his first visit to the United States, once described to me, his eyes popping out in admiration and wonder, that in America they have 83 different flavors of ice creams to choose from. He was longing for something like that to happen in India. It looks as if his dream has come true today, at least for the upper middle classes in India. The high consumption lifestyles of their first world counterpart is now well within reach, and they take it like ducks to water. Luxury houses bursting at the same seams with every imaginable material. Blessings are no longer rarities for everyone whose definition of the good life are premised upon the abundance of material possessions. The times have never been better. What he is saying is, see, in Western this trend was practiced since long time, but in India this is just a recent trend. Now, one young man who had been to United States had seen them 83 kinds of flavors of ice cream. So he was dreaming that this 83 times, at least half of the varieties of ice cream should be available in India. His dream has come true now. Even in India, we get so many flavors of ice cream. He was longing for something like that to happen in India. It looks as if his dream has come true today, at least for the upper middle classes in India. So, upper middle classes always try to copy the rich class, uppermost class. and they are trying to take the advantage of these shopping malls. The high consumption lifestyles of their first world counterparts is now well within reach. So it is their dream of leading a life like that of high class has come within a reach. It is available now, and they take it like ducks to water. They are not missing any chance to take this opportunity. Luxury houses, not only just the products, just the consumption things. There are other things like luxury houses bursting in every places in very imaginable blessing are no longer rarities. So whatever they have imagined, they are getting it. The upper middle class are getting it. For everyone whose definition of good lives are premised upon the abundance of material possessions. So good life, the definition of good life is nothing but now what they have collected, the material things. It is nothing but they imagine, the imagination of a good and happy life has not remained the real happiness of a soul, but the collecting of material possessions. If you have a big bungalow, that means the thinking is that you are a happy person, you are a rich person, so you are a happy person. There is nothing actual, literally happiness is not there, just a show off. If you have a big bungalow, it means that you are a happy persons. See, they have given here for everyone whose definition of good life means if you have so many things in your house, it is a good life, are premised upon the abundance of material possessions. The times have never been better. So it cannot be made better now unless we take action upon this. So next, the tragic comedy of development. The tragic comedy of development, I will do it in my next video. For your homework, just read this lesson. Almost I prefer you to read this at least 7 to 8 times, because the language is little bit difficult. You need a dictionary within your reach, and wherever you find a difficult word, you should be able to find out the meaning of those words and just understand this lesson. That lesson is not that difficult, but most of the time, as my experience says, that most of the students get confused in these lessons. I try my level best to convince you. So till then, read it and watch this video, and if you don't understand still, read more time. Okay, take care. Namaste.